Shall I start, sir?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Yes.
A pleasant good afternoon. Respected Secretary of ESSK Educational Charities, Sri S. Sendil Kumar. Respected Registrar of ESSK Educational Charities, Dr. E. Soundararajan. Respected Principal of Thievanai Ammal College for Women, Dr. M. Brinda. Dean of Research, Dr. C.R. Utra. Academic Head, International Skill Development Corporation, UK, Ms.Teresa Jacobs. South Regional Head, ACCA, Mr. B. Saravanakumar. Fellow Member of ACCA, Mr. Pramod Rajani. Regional Manager, Business Development, ISDC, Mr. Calvin Freddy Paul. Business Relationship Manager, ACCA, Mr. K. Royston. Faculty members of the Department of Commerce, Dr. T.R. Anandi, Ms. A. Rahmatunisa, and Ms. S. Jansi Rani. Faculty members from other colleges and dear students. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you to the national webinar on the topic, The Future of Accounting and Finance Professionals, organized by the PG and Research Department of Commerce, Thievanai Ammal College for Women, Autonomous Villupuram, in association with Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, ACCA UK, and the International Skill Development Corporation. About the Department of Commerce, the vision of the Department of Commerce is to aim at the empowerment of women for a career in business firms through quality commerce education, and to promote the Department of Commerce as a research center with excellence in commerce and create professionals with ethical values. The mission of the department is to equip the students to emerge as an efficient and ethical business consultants, chartered accountants, entrepreneurs, and business managers. The courses offered by the department since inception: BCom, then BCom Computer Application, BCom International Accounting and Taxation from this academic year onwards, Master of Commerce, MPhil, PhD full-time and part-time. The achievements of our college are as follows: recognition of UGC under section 2F and 12B of the UGC Acts, regional field unit of National Testing Center, Mysore, for training college teachers, recognition as Examination Center of Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi, UGC conferment of fresh autonomous status, NAC re-accreditation by A grade, recognition as Community College of Tamil Nadu Open University, ISO recertification, extension of autonomous status, and our college is offering NPTEL and spoken tutorial courses. Sponsorship obtained from TNSCST, NAC, DST, and EDI, Entrepreneurship Development Institute. The objective of the webinar is to create awareness about ACCA, International Accounting and Taxation, and to impart the knowledge on the future of accounting and finance professionals. First, I would like to introduce Sri S. Sendil Kumar, Secretary of our college. His vision is to empower rural women through quality education. He is the chairman of ES Arts and Science College. the Secretary of ES Nursing College and the former Academic Council member of Thiruvallur University. He has brought several innovations in the curriculum of Thiruvallur University. I welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to introduce the Registrar of ESSK Educational Charities, Dr. E. Soundararajan. He has contributed to the betterment of the society by servicing more than 26 years in the Department of Commerce, AVC College, Autonomous, Mayiladurai. He acted as Dean of Students Affairs, NSS Program Officer, RRC Coordinator, IGNO Coordinator, and Tamil Nadu Open University Coordinator. I welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to introduce Ms.Teresa Jacob, Academic Head, ISDC Global UK. She has won the Best Teacher Award. She firmly believes in the power of education in changing lives. She has won Queen's Award for Enterprise. She seeks to enable students to upskill themselves and make the most of their educational opportunities and thus to build a great future for themselves. I welcome you, madam. Next, I would like to introduce Mr. B. Saravakumar, South Regional Head, ACCA. He has completed his MBA in Marketing and Bachelor's degree in Law. He has worked in the Ministry of Finance, Government of India, Information Security, e-learning and skill development, legal consulting to meet the business demands in India, Asian region and Middle East. I welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to welcome the principal of Thievanai Ammal College for Women, Dr. M. Brinda. She has more than 25 years of teaching and research experience. I welcome you, madam. Next, I would like to introduce Pramod Rajani, a fellow member of ACCA UK. He is a chartered accountant. He qualified in international financial reporting standards and international accounting standards. Strong understanding of US generally accepted accounting principles. He did his BCom in DG Vaishnava College, Chennai. He is a portfolio manager. He has gained professional experience in Honeywell International and Crisil Limited. He has also gained unique international experience by living in Hong Kong for 6 years and London for 3 years. I welcome you, sir. I once again welcome all of you. I hope that this national seminar will be very informative and fruitful for all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful description, for the wonderful introduction of each and every speaker. Next up, I would like to invite Dr. Brinda ma'am, the principal of Thievanai Ammal College for Women, to give a few words. Yes, ma'am.
Very good afternoon to all. First of all, I would like to welcome Ms.Teresa Jacob, Academic Head, ISD Global UK, Mr. Kumar, South Regional Head, ACCA, Mr. Pramod Rajani, Fellow Member of ACCA UK, Dr. S. Villupuram, Head Department of Commerce, teachers and my dear students. I welcome you all for this webinar. So today's topic is the future of accounting and finance professionals. Nowadays, the future of accounting is very high. The accounting professions will face significant changes in the next 3 decades. Smart software systems, including cloud computing, will support the trend towards the outsourcing services. Continued globalization will create more chances and challenges for members. Actually, the thing is, I don't want to take more time. Now I'm leaving the stage to the honor speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the introduction. Next up, I'd like to welcome Teresa Jacobs, ma'am, who is connecting to us all the way from the UK. Ma'am is the academic head of ISDC. Ma'am, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much for the very kind introduction. And it's a great pleasure for me to be here with you by the power of technology, all the way from, in fact, Glasgow in Scotland today. Always a pleasure to try to inspire our students as they start their BCom and BBA programs, and be able to offer them some additional qualifications that will be able to help them stand out from the crowd, get those real job advantages. But in particular, I do always enjoy, especially the opportunity to present to women's colleges. So may I first of all completely applaud your vision and your mission to empower the rural women of the Chennai area. It is a fantastic initiative, and ladies, I think we have to always see that education is a fabulous gift. It's not something we should take for granted, and I am sure that you will take advantage of these additional opportunities that are about to be presented to you. Ladies, we do talk about all over Europe and mostly around the world of what we call the glass ceiling. Now, the glass ceiling is particularly used to refer to a point at which women are no longer rising beyond. So it is an invisible barrier that says that, in fact, the world over, there are still proportionately fewer women on the boards of organizations. But what we can see with, for example, the additional help that women's only colleges are presenting, and with the opportunity that you have to achieve not one qualification, but two at the same time, or shortly afterwards, and to take advantage of, as your principal mentioned, the world is changing very, very rapidly. You are a unique generation that I think in the future will be remembered as the generation that were educated during the COVID era. But one thing that I have seen that is remarkable in just the 5 months is how we have all adapted to Zoom, StreamYard, Microsoft Teams, you name it, whichever platform it is. We have refused to let lockdown be a shutdown, and we have just grabbed back those opportunities that we could have just let fall away. Let us also totally commend our colleagues at ACCA, who in very short space of time have put all of their exams online with distance remote invigilation. So my congratulations to ACCA. So ladies, I would like you to listen to the opportunity that my colleagues at ISDC and my colleagues at ACCA present to you, I would like you to keep your minds open, to think about how this can give you opportunities that are not for you to dream about, but opportunities that you can take with both hands and your brains, and all of you together can work as the women of the world to smash that glass ceiling so that women begin to and move forward and are empowered in the very way that your college has set out in its mission. So I am totally proud to work for ISDC. We like to promote the power of the international qualification offered in the Indian environment that is combined with the super qualifications that you will get in your college. No doubt it will open doors. So ladies, please listen, please be ready with your metaphorical hammers and fists to smash the glass ceiling. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope you find the ACCA qualification inspiring. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for the wonderful words of encouragement and wisdom. And thank you for taking your time in connecting to us for this webinar all the way from the UK. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. Next up, we have Mr. Sarvana Kumar, sir, the South Regional Head for ACCA, under whose dynamic leadership we've been able to promote and do this qualification across India. Sir, the stage is yours, sir.
Good afternoon, all, and thank you, Calvin. I welcome one and all, and my distinguished guests, Pramod, Teresa, our Principal and Honorable Secretary. It is always a pleasure to always work with Thievanai Ammal College, for especially the commitment what they show towards in terms of giving opportunities for their students to progress well in their academics and to be successful in their life. And this gives immense pleasure, and I take this opportunity to thank the Thievanai Ammal College management for giving us this wonderful opportunity to work together. I do not want to take much of the time. I'll just brief you about the ACCA qualification. I think we are launching the first batch of ACCA integrated BCom program in the college. This is the first academic year. ACCA has a global qualification. If you look at ACCA qualification, it's from UK, started off in the year 1904. So you could know how long and rich tradition this qualification has got, and how the qualification has traveled through different times, and the evaluation of industry, the evaluation of the mankind, and in terms of it has seen through so many changes across happening in the various economies across the globe. So, but still, the qualification is more in relevance and in demand. The simple reason is the agility what ACCA as a qualification has had, how it has adopted to changes and incorporated those changes into the qualification. And the most important thing is thinking ahead. So that's the most important USP what ACCA as a qualification does, because we do a lot of professional insights, research work to understand the industry needs and ensure those new requirements are incorporated in the syllabus. So ACCA as a qualification updates its curriculum every 3 years once, and ensures that the latest requirements of the industry is embedded into the curriculum, so that the passing out students are more in relevance to what the industry expectations is. That's the biggest USP of ACCA. And as I said, it was started in 1904 from UK, being a British qualification. ACCA is recognized in all the Commonwealth countries. So ACCA is recognized in more than 185 countries across the globe. What does this mean? See, you are equal to a student who does ACCA in UK, or a student who does ACCA in Australia or New Zealand, or in any part of the globe. So the basically three things is what makes a difference between professional qualification and a normal graduation. If you look at professional qualification, the three important factors of a professional qualification is it gives you respect in the society, it gives you high rewarding career, I mean high earning opportunities, and the third and most important thing is career mobility. That is what ACCA provides. So you know what are the professional qualifications, for example, medicine, engineers, chartered accountants, lawyers. These are the professional qualifications which are there. If you look at these qualifications, they don't have a retirement. They will decide when to retire, and they will decide whether they want to be an entrepreneur or they want to work for somebody. So they will decide their life, their future, and the way how they lead to their life. And why they are called as professionals? Because they are a specialist in those chosen field of study which they are specialized. For example, if we have any health issues, the first thing what we do is we go and look for a good qualified doctor, experienced doctor, and go and seek for medicine treatment and all that. We don't go to anybody else. Similarly, for setting up a factory or a building or any other engineering related things, we go and seek suggestions, consultancy, advice, everything from a certified engineer of that domain. It can be mechanical engineering, electrical, civil, whatever it is. And similarly, for any legal or legal related issues, we look for a good qualified lawyer. And for all finance, business planning, statutory compliance, and all that, whom we seek suggestions and advice from a qualified auditor. So these are called professional studies. It is not like normally what you study a BCom, you work for a company, then you get a retirement age, then you retire from the service. So there is nothing that kind of a job in a professional qualification. As a qualified professional, people who have done the qualification can choose whether they can go and work for some large organizations, or if they want to have their own practice and have their own entity set up. Yes, you have the flexibility. And tomorrow you feel that this working your own entity doesn't work, then again you can go for a professional qualification. I mean, a large organization. Organizations will accept because you are a specialist, you are a professionally qualified person. So that is the biggest advantage what a professional qualification provides. That's number one. Number two, today organizations with the latest dynamic changes what's happening in our day-to-day life. And in fact, before COVID, we all felt we are not so much high technically. We are having good knowledge in IT, especially in computers. But post-COVID and the post-new normal, we have all realized that we are great guys who are good in using technology. For example, this webinar itself, if the COVID situation had not come, I would have come to the campus, we would have had in-person sessions. But now, this new normal, we have now connected virtually. See, think about technology is not something which is not a different thing. Everybody has the ability to use technology. For example, see, especially the millennial kids, the new generation kids. When I was studying my college, I used to hear a word called email, but I never know Facebook, or I doesn't know any LinkedIn chat or any other option, social media. But today, kids, you are coming along with all these things. Nobody thought you to create a Facebook account. Nobody thought you to open a LinkedIn account, or nobody thought you to open a Twitter account. So nobody thought you to have an Instagram account. You have learned it automatically. So this is how the important aspect, if you look into this, is the agility and the interest what you have to learn to do new things. That's something special about this millennial kids. You are belonging to that generation. How I am saying this is, ACCA as an organization, we did a global research to understand what youngsters are looking for, what they want to do. Today, youngsters are so much knowledgeable. They use technology to the maximum and to the maximum productivity for the goodness. And today, younger generation people have the way how they are doing things is completely different from a generation which is slightly older. There is a huge paradigm shift. And even the way how businesses are happening across the globe, the way how the business models have evolved, things have changed. For example, today we have the largest taxi company, Uber, which doesn't own even a single car. Can you imagine? Today, you can, if you look at the largest chain of star hotels, they don't even own a single property. That's the way. Now the gig economy is completely different. Now we talk about various things like blockchain, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, big data, artificial intelligence. These are something which has come and transformed human lives in a very, very significant way. And the way how things are happening. So what now the organizations, when they look for new talent, the upcoming passing out students or even the existing, they want to have who is a subject specialist, the domain specialist. They don't want to have the normal person because they are looking for specialists. So when we mean specialists, they are professionals. Only if you specialize in the area, only then you are called as professionals. So that is where a professional qualification like ACCA joint along with BCom offered by your Thievanai Ammal College makes a huge difference for students in their career, because you would not only have a graduation, but you also have a professional qualification along with you, which is globally recognized. That's where you will be standing separately, distinctly from the normal crowd. You will be highly in demand. So that's what I just want to pass on that message, how this is going to make a difference, how a BCom with ACCA is going to make a difference for students in their careers, in their future journey. And coming to the qualification, if you look at the qualification, ACCA is a chartered accountancy qualification, or we tell it as a full-rounded 360-degree finance and accounting qualification. And the qualification consists of 13 papers. And the qualification split, this 13 papers split into 3 levels. First is called the fundamental or skill level, knowledge level. The next is the, it consists of the knowledge level consists of 3 papers, first 3 papers. Then we have the skill level, applied skill level, where it has got another 6 papers. This put together 9 papers is called fundamental level. And after completing the fundamental level, then you have to complete another 4 papers. So in which 2 papers are mandatory, which is called strategic business leader, and the other one is called strategic business reporting. And apart from that, you have to choose any 2 electives from the given 4 options, either advanced performance management, taxation, audit and assurance, so financial reporting. So financial management. In any of these 4 papers, you can choose whichever area you want to choose. So put together, you have to complete 13 papers. Once you complete 13 papers, at ACCA, we strongly believe that it is not only important to bring out good accountants, but the accountants also should be good for accounting. I hope you can understand it. It is not important to produce good accountants. We need to produce accountants for good. So that means being a professional accountant, every passing out per student has to have professional ethics and professionalism in their work, what they do. So we have a paper called Ethics and Professional Skills, where it ensures the passing out students are completely aware of the professional ethics, how they need to conduct themselves as a qualified chartered accountant, how they need to deal with situation, and how they need to act more ethically, because their actions, how it is going to impact organization's growth. So we have that one paper called Ethics and Professional Skills. So this is about the papers. Now I'll come to the briefing of what along the journey you get. So as I said, the first level or the knowledge level, when you complete 3 papers, you get a diploma in business accounting, which is a globally recognized diploma. And after you complete the next 6 papers, that is a full fundamental level of 9 papers, you get an advanced diploma in business accounting. Apart from that, if you are interested in submitting 2 research dissertations, then you are eligible to get a BSc Honours in Applied Accounting from University of Oxford in UK. It's a full-time conferred degree. Student, after completing that degree, if you want to have the graduation, you can have the graduation at UK, London campus, or at their Singapore campus where they do the graduation. It's a full-time degree which is offered by University of Oxford. The reason why they offer this is because they have embedded the ACCA qualification into the their BSc Honours program. That's the reason they give that equivalency. And that is one thing. And after that, even after you completing the professional level papers, And if you submit 2 dissertations, you will be able to get a full-time master's degree, MSc in professional accounting from University of London. So which is the number 1 rated master's program for finance and accounting. So if you look at this journey, the ACCA career journey, at every level you get a recognition. You are recognized. You are not left alone. That is one thing. And number 2 is, in ACCA, all our exams are computer-based exams. The simple reason is, we believe it is not required for a student to study computer skills separately. So what we have done is, we have embedded the required IT skills, what is required, in the papers itself. So right from day 1, you will be taking your exams through computers. So all exams are computer-based, because in today's life, none of us doesn't use pen and paper for anything except taking few notes. Even that we know, use sticky pad and other thing. So when you work for actual working life after your academics, you will have to do everything in the system. So that's the reason we want to imbibe that culture of adoption of technology, agility towards learning technology, along with what is required for accounting. So that's how we have embedded it. So all our exams are computer-based exams. And the third and most important point is, we are flexible, but we are not easy. That means what? We don't have grouping system. As a student, you can write one paper and clear also, or you can write 2 papers also. In a year, we have 4 exam cycles, which is in March, June, September, and December. So for each exam cycle, students, you can write 2 papers, or at times, if you feel some of the subjects you require additional learning time, you can take one paper also for each of the exam cycle. That means it's flexible, and it gives you ample time for you to decide when you are confident to take this exam. So this is the biggest advantage what ACCA provides. And if you are not able to clear, for example, as a student, if I'm not able to clear one paper, I have to write only that one paper again and the next exam cycle and clear. Not required. It is not required for me to write the entire group. There is no grouping system, no negative marking. So these are some of the advantages for you students through the ACCA qualification. But as I said earlier, it is flexible. So don't take it feeling that it's easy. And the most important thing, the pedagogy, the course delivery. We follow entire case study based, scenario based. That means you will have to, all your questions, whatever you write, no question is wrong. No answer is wrong or no answer is right. What ACCA grading would be is, they'll be testing the students' ability, the practical approachability, how you use your knowledge, what you have studied to implement certain things in the real-time scenario. How is your decision making? How is your logical thinking? That is what ACCA's way of checking would be. So it is not required for you to memorize or mug up and come and re-vomit those things in a paper. So when you take exams, while you study itself, you'll be studying everything on a case study scenario based. So what it means? So the questions will be in such a way which is more of relevant in a real-time scenario. So you will have to understand the questions and apply your logic, what action to be done. That's the way you will have to answer. So that's the way you will be doing things in your real work life. So that's what I said in relevance. So while you study ACCA, you will be having a practical based approach, so that you are not in a tensed situation to memorize something or mug up something. Rather, you understand. For example, how we understand mathematics. 5 2s are 10. Everybody knows. So that's the kind of application what you will be studying. So what law to be used, or what standards should be applied, or how to interpret a particular financial statement. Those kind of concept-based, scenario-based learning would be there. So that means you kids will be understanding and studying. That is more important, because that is what help you to empower with good knowledge and strengthen your foundation. So whatever on future work you are going to do. So these are some of the advantages. When you study ACCA, what's the flexibility you get to complete the qualification. And now I'll come to this program what is being offered jointly along with Thievanai Ammal College. See, what we have done is, ACCA doesn't want the students to reinvent the wheel again. So that means what? Whatever you have studied earlier, we recognize. So what we have done is, the BCom syllabus of Thievanai Ammal College, they have mapped this, especially for this program, they have mapped the ACCA syllabus into it. So the first 6 papers is being embedded into the BCom syllabus. So the advantage for you students is you are not required to write 6 papers of ACCA separately. While you write the college exams and you clear those exams with successful marks, then you are considered that you have cleared that 6 papers in ACCA. So the biggest advantages in this program when you have joined this program is for you it is not required for you to invest your time again to complete study ACCA's first 6 papers because you automatically clear those papers. And the other thing is you get more time to complete the qualification fast. So from the F7 paper onwards, you can parallelly study while you are studying the BCom and you can clear that. So that means what? You will complete a graduation and you will also be completing the professional qualification while you're completing the third year BCom. So that's the way the program is. And the most important aspect, what every student will be looking in, the advantage of this partnership, this engagement, this program is you are saving 50% of your cost. Not 50%, even I would say 65% of your course money, spending money to ACCA studying separately. So as it comes along with your BCom as a honors program. So that's the biggest advantage what you have. And I wish all of you students to be successful and successfully pass out the qualification as well. And apart from this, after studying, what is next? Everybody needs to go for work. So ACCA again is concerned. It doesn't want it leave its students just like that after completing the qualification. So what we do is we have a separate job portal. Most of the students can take note of this. You can type in Google jobs at accaglobal.com or careers, ACCA careers. It will take you to our job portal site. So we have a job portal site where we continuously keep posting jobs which have come in relevance. Basically, why we have this is to felicitate our students to have successful career journey. So we work with global organizations across the globe. So we bring all those jobs positions which is coming up in these organizations for finance and accounting roles and get these jobs posted in our career portal. Every student who registers as a ACCA student has access for this portal. So they can log in and see what are the various job roles which are available. You can do a country-wise search. You can do city-wise search within the country. So that's the way we felicitate our students and affiliates to be successful on the career. So we not only provide the qualification, but we also give that career assistance so that students are successful while they complete the qualification when they move on to the real work life. As I said, ACCA is a professional qualification. This also requires a practical experience after your academics. So in India, we call it as for the Indian CA, they call it as articleship. It's the same, but we call it as practical experience, which is for a period of 36 months. And a student has to complete their practical experience and register in a given format, which covers 9 parameters. So it ensures that you are empowered for all the roles which is in the finance domain, so that tomorrow when you go on to work, you will have to manage multiple situations. So you are aware of those things and you are able to execute those things. So that is the way the PER is built. And it is mandate for every student to complete the practical experience. Only then they will be registered as a member. And for the completing this practical experience, they have to do under the guidance of a qualified finance professional. So that's the way it is. It is more like same like our articleship. But there you have to complete articleship and come and do the final group. But here we are flexible. To complete the full qualification, then you can come and do the PR. So what it means? So that after completing the qualification, you don't waste time for articleship. You work in a bigger organization and parallelly complete your PR. PER. It's called PER, Practical Experience Report. So that's the way it is. So this is mandate. Every student who completes all the papers has to complete the PER to become as a member. So I think I in detail shared all the details about ACCA. And if at all any questions, along with me, my colleague Royston is also there in this call. We will be happy to address. And I thank ISDC team, our strategic partner for in India for ACCA, for giving this wonderful opportunity, connecting Thievanai Ammal College and us for this webinar session to connect with you all. And I thank all of you for giving a wonderful time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the wonderful, lovely explanation about ACCA, about the entire qualification, how the paper works. That was indeed very informative. Thank you very much for your time, sir. Next up, we have Mr. Pramod Rajani, who is our main speaker for the day. And sir is going to be talking on the topic, the future of accounting and finance professionals. Now I invite Pramod sir to tell about Pramod sir. Like our HOD sir already said, he's a fellow member of ACCA and he's a chartered accountant as well. We are really honored to have Pramod sir in our midst. Sir, the stage is yours, sir.
Thank you, Calvin, and thank you to the college and everybody else for organizing this event, and thank you to all the participants for obviously attending this event, and I hope you find it relevant and useful in terms of the thoughts that are going to be shared over here. So I'm not going to be talking about anything technical whatsoever. We've got enough qualifications, enough courses, and ACCA out there to talk about the technicals, but touching upon a little bit about what the future holds for finance professionals in general. I think if you look at, some of the prior speakers touched upon a few of the ongoing sort of underlying changes in the world today. But if you kind of think about how the finance profession or the accounting profession has evolved in the last 20, 30 years, 30 years back, you just had the advent of computers and the modern technology in terms of how it was being adopted. All financial reporting, auditing, your tax calculation, your investment management, investing was all done in books. You had to write it down. Then you had the adoption of computers. It moved on online over there. And then coming to the point, you had the internet, which allowed you to sort of facilitate to do a few things a little faster. And so the progression has been there with time. Where do we stand today? You're seeing a lot of corporations, a lot of companies that have, at least globally, for the most part, in most of the developed countries, they've adopted technology very well. It's very, very, very well integrated in their processes, and in many cases, it's also a critical part of their business model in terms of their business functionality. Where do we stand in India in that respect? India, in that respect, is perhaps a little behind the technology adoption curve, both in terms of the operational processes, as well as, featuring technology is a key part of our business offering in terms of what we offer in the business. So when you kind of think about where we stand today, India compared to the rest of the world, and I assume that most of the audience here is they're based in India, so I'm sort of targeting them. But if you think about, let's just look forward a little bit, about 10 years down the line right now, you have a rapidly evolving landscape, globally at least. Just to give you a few examples that are there, I don't know if some of you know it or not, but very soon you're not going to need cell phone towers anymore to actually receive a call, to actually browse the internet, to do anything of that sort. You've got companies like Apple, like Tesla, that have worked on technologies where they actually use, you're going to get the signal directly from satellites above. And for this, they're basically launching thousands of satellites into the stratosphere. So that's changing. That's one change. Another change that's sort of going on in the world today is you might see oil and gas sort of being phased out of the global consumption and the global usage. Oil and gas, as a reminder, is about, if you take the upstream side of it, it's about 5% of the global GDP. If you take a little bit of the if you include the downstream, you're somewhere in the high single digits as a percentage of global GDP. So because you're moving, and why is that happening? It's because 70% of oil and gas is basically used towards your transportation fuels. And when you have battery operated cars that are now being adopted, you may not actually need oil and gas anymore. So why are all these things important? Why are all these things relevant? Why am I bringing it up right now for a finance professional? Why? It's because right since the beginning of corporate, since the corporates have evolved over the last 50 to 100 years, the finance function is always integral to being able to understand, monitor, report, and basically being able to make decisions based on that. And so going forward, the next generation of professionals that come out, that choose to pursue this path, they're going to have to be mindful of a few things. One, they're going to have to adopt technology, adopt some of the modern day things that are going on in the world. And admittedly, I'll have to say that in India, from a technology perspective, we've only adopted, to probably a certain percentage of what it should be adopted globally. I mean, in India, we've done e-commerce, we've done a few apps. That's pretty much it. But if you compare it to some other countries, like where you have, if you look at the United States, you've got Tesla that's doing a few different things. You've got artificial intelligence that's being developed and deployed as an industry over there in terms of, healthcare, robotics, things like that. So in India, we'll have to adopt technology. We're also going to have to adapt towards the changing business environment. And so in the last 10, 15 years, technology has been a part of it. We've seen, Google has been there. You've seen Facebook has been there. You've seen Apple has been there. But what's going to happen in the next 10 years or so globally is that technology and innovation are going to sort of rapidly increase. And so what that means is you're going to have new business models. You're going to have new ways, new businesses altogether. Now, for example, if someone is, developing robotics or developing drones as a business, as a finance professional, you've got to understand how that works. It's one thing to be able to sort of understand, okay, the financial reporting side of it. But if you're an auditor, you're going to have to understand how that works. Where are the costs coming in over there? I mean, how do you sort of monitor the costs? You have to have a very deeply embedded understanding of the business. And therefore, as a result, you're going to have a better understanding of some of the technologies that are involved. Because your inputs, your understanding will lead to your preparation of the financial statements. You work closely with management teams, CEOs, leaders of your businesses to be able to determine good decisions going forward and what needs to be done, where needs to be invested, where it shouldn't be invested, where you can pull back, and so on and so forth. The same thing will apply if you're an auditor as well. You've got to be able to understand the business. Now, if you don't understand how Tesla, how Elon Musk is basically flying rockets into space, then you have a problem in terms of being able to sign off on the audited financials. So those are some of the things that you're going to have to be a little bit mindful of. The other thing that's also changing is, you're actually having innovative payment models that are being adopted globally now. So you've got your conventional banking platforms, as you've always known, online banking. But now you have, you've seen in the last decade NBFCs that have come. You've also seen these apps that have been done, which are there designed to disrupt the financial process, as it were. And probably the most important change that's actually been there is the adoption of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, I'm not going to get into the details over here, but cryptocurrency is a highly encrypted currency which does not allow you to sort of be able to trace the details of that other than a few parties. If governments, countries around the world begin to legally adopt and use cryptocurrency as a mechanism for payments, then we as finance professionals are going to need to be able to make sure we understand how to monitor, how to flow, especially as auditors. You're going to be able to need to understand how you check the trail. Where is payments being routed? And in the context of the global environment right now, where you're seeing, you have the Financial Action Task Force, you have these global regulators that are there to basically ensure that, there's no money laundering, that money is being deployed for valid reasons and not illegal reasons. So these are some of the most challenging as well as opportunistic things that will sort of evolve over the next decade. And so what does that mean for us from an Indian perspective? Where if you're an existing finance professional, great. You've probably seen how things have evolved, but how are you going to sort of adapt going forward? If you're basically, a large part of you are students considering finance as a profession for the future, you've got to be aware that you're going to need to be able to be a little bit more dynamic in terms of the way you do it. Finance is not just a profession where you kind of just run the numbers and you provide the thing. It's going forward, there's going to be a high level of interlinkage between the strategy side, the operational side, the financial side in terms of how businesses are run. And you're going to have a very high level of, call it regulatory enforcement. Regulations are going to get a lot more stringent globally. Ethical standards should be high. For some reason, they're not necessarily as high, or they're not as highly enforced as they are in some parts of the world today. That's going to go up as well. So in the context of the next decade or 2 decades, all this means is you're going to need to be a lot more dynamic. You're going to need to be nimble on your feet. You're going to have to constantly learn. You're going to have to sort of be abreast of not just the technology changes, but also the underlying. I'm not saying you become a rocket scientist, but you've got to be able to understand the science behind some of these things. So far, in my view, what we've seen right now is just the start of the change of what's going to happen in the next sort of 10 to 20 years. You're going to see a lot of innovative scientific changes that will come. That's going to dramatically change the landscape of industry globally in the next 10 to 20 years. Now, let's put the Indian context into that. India has historically been, we've not exactly evolved at the same pace as the rest of the globe. So what that means is basically you're going to have to be, India is by default, it's going to have to evolve, and it will evolve in the next decade. You're going to see business models change. If you look at the Indian economy, you see basically things where you have sort of an end user, slightly lower value add oriented industries that are present. You've got industrial, you've got a few things, but you don't have necessarily that many technology oriented companies or industries in India. And so as a finance professional, if you're pursuing a qualification right now and you intend to sort of qualify, if you're going to qualify now or in the next 2 or 3 years, you've got to be prepared that you're going to also need to be aware of a number of other lateral changes. You're going to have to be laterally integrated with a number of other functions that are there. And so that's going to be a dramatic change in India. In India, you're also going to have a lot more stringent regulatory standards that will be enforced, both from the accounting side as well as the corporate, your SEBIs, your RBIs of the world. They will enforce certain more strict standards. So that's going to change a lot in India. And now, so what that means is the key skills or the key attributes that you as a finance professional will need to survive and thrive in the next decade. You're going to have to adapt. You're going to have to evolve. You're going to have to ensure that your own ethical standards are of the highest level, because going forward, even if there's a slight lapse in terms of the enforcement of it, then the companies and the firms that you work with will be heavily penalized. And you're going to have to be nimble. Probably the most important thing is you're going to have to be nimble. You're going to have to adapt to change. Change is going to be very, very rapid. You'll not just have to adopt technology in terms of the operationals, in terms of how you whip. I know that ACCA has done a few webinars on automation and robotics in finance and the financial reporting process. That's great. That's going to happen, and that'll help. But what that does is that will also create new sort of areas for the finance professionals to sort of focus on and look at. And so therefore, the finance professional is not going to just be a purely finance person. That person is going to sort of have an understanding, more deeply entrenched, aware, he or she will be more deeply entrenched in the other functions of the organization and will have a better understanding of that. So that, I think, is just that's the path sort of the next 10 to 20 years. And given that we were a little bit over time prior to this, I think I will stop here, and I'm going to open it up for any questions or comments if anybody has that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the lovely session. Thank you for all the information that you shared on the new business front and on the new technologies that are being used. Thank you very much. Students, we'd like to keep this session open now for questions. If in case you have any questions for the speaker, Pramod sir, or if you have any questions for the ACCA team, you can go ahead and post your questions now in the chat box, so that we can voice it on to the speaker and the speaker can address your questions. So we're going to keep the next 5 minutes up for questions. If in case you have any questions that you wish to ask the speaker, this is the time. Whatever is your question, put it in the chat box so that we can highlight it and inform it to the speaker. So we'll give them a few minutes, sir. We'll give them 2 or 3 minutes so that if in case we have any questions, we can address them.
Sure.
Yes. Meantime, I would like to inform you that the link for the feedback has been posted in the YouTube comments. So the complete link has been posted. Probably you can click on the link and give us a feedback regarding the session. Please mention your information and drop in a few lines of your feedback so that we would get to know how you felt about the session, and we can do more and more sessions in future. Sir, I don't think we have got any questions right now.
Yeah.
So shall we wind up, sir?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Sir. Thank you, students. Thanks to all the students, to all the faculty members. On behalf of International Skill Development Corporation, on behalf of ACCA, the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, on behalf of Thievanai Ammal College for Women, Villupuram, we would like to extend a big thank you to all the students, to all the parents who've been there in the session. We'd like to thank the management of Thievanai Ammal College for giving us this platform and addressing the students. I'd like to extend my thanks to the secretary, to the higher management of Thievanai Ammal College, to our principal ma'am, to our head of the department, Dr. Selvakumar sir, for giving us this platform where we can address about ACCA to all our students. Students, we'd like to inform you that this year, Thievanai Ammal College, we have BCom, International Accounting and Taxation, that comes along with ACCA, where you get a 6-paper exemption. This is a new program that is being launched and admissions are on right now. You can directly go to the college website. You can call us on the college numbers, or you can directly walk in for admissions. Right now, I would like to hand over the session to Dr. Selvakumar sir, our HOD, for the vote of thanks. Yes, sir.
Shall I proceed, sir?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, it is my pleasure to propose vote of thanks. I would like to express my sincere thanks to the Secretary of ESSK Educational Charities, Sri S. Sandil Kumar, respected Registrar of ESSK Educational Charities, Dr. E. Soundararajan, respected Principal of Thievanai Ammal College for Women, Dr. M. Brinda, Dean of Research, Dr. C.R. Utra, Academic Head, ISDC Global UK, Ms.Teresa Jacobs, South Regional Head, ACCA, Mr. B. Saravanakumar, fellow member of ACCA, Mr. Pramod Rajani, Regional Manager, Business Development, ISDC, Mr. Calvin Freddy Paul, Business Relationship Manager, ACCA, Mr. K. Royston, faculty members of the Department of Commerce. I thank Mr. Krishna Kumar, System Administrator. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the faculty members of other colleges and students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the vote of thanks. We come to the end of the session right now. Once again, on behalf of ISDC, International Skill Development Corporation, on behalf of ACCA, and on behalf of Thievanai Ammal College, I thank all the students, all the parents, all the professors, and all the higher management of the college who've been a part of the session. It was an exciting session. It was a wonderful evening. We felt really excited talking to you digitally over this digital platform. Thank you so much. Thank you for your presence. Looking forward to more and more sessions like this. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.